we get started, just a reminder that you can find all of my available rental properties on my website at marcguzman.com. If you own investment property, click on the Owner Services section to see our complete list of services. Thank you to our sponsor for today's episode, East Brother Beer. Located on Canal Boulevard in Point Richmond, East Brother Beer mixes classic brewing styles with precision and modern sensibility to create the perfect Bay Area craft beer. Every year, Bay Area residents are invited to sing out the old year while singing in the new one at Sing for Your Life. Led by Oakland native David Worm, Sing for Your Life is 12 hours of continuous community singing. Sing for Your Life has taken place on December 30th for the last 18 years at the First Congressional Church of Oakland at the corner of Harrison and 27th Street. David Worm joins the podcast today to talk about Sing for Your Life and the meaning it brings to the community. David, Thanks for coming on to the podcast.
Pleasure's mine, man.
Yeah, excited for this. So one of the questions I like to ask every guest is, what currently has your attention?
What currently has my attention? Well, what we're trying to promote actually is like right in my face every day. Wow, what currently has my attention? That's wild. That's a wild question.
We get a lot of wild answers too, by the way.
I bet you do. I'm a vocalist, a singer, and Billie Eilish was in town 2 nights ago. They didn't know anything about it. She's a brand new artist. She's like a 17-year-old girl that has like an amazing voice, a very delicate, sort of a throwback to some other time. And so I thought, well, she's here, and I've got a daughter that is totally in love with this girl.
Was it feeling a little bit like Amy Winehouse when she first came out?
Yeah, exactly like that. You're like, wow, this is really different and very interesting. And it took me a minute because she's very dark. Like a lot of the lyric content is very dark, and so it was like, what's she about? My kid is listening to this, so I got to really check it out. I started checking it out, and I realized she's on a whole nother level in terms of what's out there in music, in popular music, and in terms of lyric content right now. So it was like all the YouTube I could get, basically for the last, say 48 hours. So that's currently the attention getter.
Well, being in music, you probably have seen the change over the years with the music industry and the internet, and how the internet, it's really changed the music industry to a point where you have a lot more younger and different artists that are coming out that probably would have never come out with the traditional business model.
Oh, absolutely.
Bieber.
Justin Bieber, Halsey, for one, she just started putting stuff out, and some of it was she was going after different artists that were sort of the standard pop artists, and she was writing tunes that were sort of fronting them, sort of challenging them, and kids got turned on to the stuff. I mean, she released a tune on the internet and woke up in the morning and had a producer calling her on the phone saying, "Hey, you've had like 1 million hits on this thing in the last 12 hours." So it's happening, and it's happening instantaneously in so many ways. And yeah, it's a whole nother way, a whole nother medium. Back in the day, you try to get signed by a record company. Record companies don't exist anymore. I mean, they're still out there, but...
Yeah. What was that one band out of South Korea or maybe Singapore that came out and they had 100 million YouTube views on their music video within 24 hours?
Yeah.
They broke the record. It was something crazy this year.
Yeah, I don't know. But that's the deal. That's what's happening. And it's changing just dramatically. I mean, I've been in the business for 40 years, professionally 30 years. And it's changed. I mean, it's like day and night, the difference.
Mm-hmm.
BTS?
BTS?
Yeah, BTS.
Okay,
Yeah. The boy, it's a boy band. They're not a cappella, but they're all singers.
Are they Singapore or South Korea? Korean. Yeah, and with the holidays here, one of the questions that I'm going to ask here, just to kind of liven it up, and it'll make for some fun content too, is what's the weirdest holiday ad you've seen?
Oh, geez.
Doesn't have to be this year. It could be in the past.
Oh man. Wow.
I came up with this question in response to that Peloton ad that came out that a lot of people have been bashing, where the girl's like videoing herself, like doing her Peloton journey.
Oh, the bike.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and she's vlogging, and then on the 1-year anniversary, she gives a vlog videos to her husband, right? Yeah, that was a little odd, but if you start looking at holiday ads internationally,
Right.
you start to see some crazy ones.
Oh, I'm sure.
There's a Russian ad where Santa Claus kidnaps a girl and threatens to kill her at knife point.
You're kidding.
Yeah, it's so weird.
That's crazy. I was going to say, you know, just the lottery ads right now. Just like they're singing, scratchy, scratchy, scratch, and you're like, what the hell? You know, it's like so crazy.
So you're from Oakland. You grew up in Oakland.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about your experiences growing up in Oakland. How was it?
It was great. It was a great place to be. Great neighborhoods. I grew up in the heart of Oakland, basically 82nd Avenue and Winthrop Street, which is it's kind of just up above the flats. You know, down, you know, the 73rd and you know, the Eastmont Mall and all these areas that were, you know, they were prime places near Castlemont High School.
Okay.
If you know the area. And, you know, played baseball, played football, you know, Oakland Dynamites, all that kind of stuff. We were really involved, and ended up going to public school and then went to Catholic school. Graduated from Bishop O'Dowd High School, which is on 98th Avenue. I live about 2 blocks from Lake Merritt, in a place called Adams Point, which is just above the lake, in an old Victorian. And it's a neighborhood. There's a lot of gentrification in the area now. It's changed quite a bit,
Especially in the last 10 years, right?
Yeah, for sure. And you know, folks consider it. You know, they've considered it the hood over the years and all of that. It's my home, and my family's there. My folks came out from the Midwest. My mom and my dad, just alone from the whole family that they were a part of in Minnesota. And so we found family here, you know, in the Bay Area, and that's how it's been. You know, we've always been proud of it.
Was it family that kept you in the Bay Area? Because I'll ask this question to various people, especially, and you see a lot of people moving out of the Bay Area,
right?
And so it's always very interesting and pretty neat to hear what's kept people here.
Yeah, it's family. I've been all over the world. You know, I've been a musician for all these years and traveled quite a bit, including throughout the U.S. You know, the weather's great, but really what it is that I have 3 brothers and a sister, and they all have kids, and those kids have kids. So it's a family. We are, you know, because we were just a single family out here without any uncles and aunts and grandparents or anything. We just stayed close. One of my brothers is a teacher downtown at a Bret Hart. It's a middle school off of Fruitvale. My other brother is as an insurance agent, and I mean, it's just we're all around. We're all in the area, and it was family. It was family that kept us. Yeah.
You said you were in the music industry now going on 40 years.
Yeah.
So everyone loves music, but
Let's
it's
hope.
but it's very interesting to talk to people who take it beyond just the passion of listening to music,
Right.
and it becomes your lifestyle.
Sure.
What drew you to that music, the lifestyle, and what were your initial inspirations?
Well, there was something about it. You know, I was in public school at the time, and I took up trombone. It was like they gave me an instrument, you know, so I took it home and learned how to play it. But it was basically I think the biggest thing for me in the music in actually choosing music was the community of music, the community of people that are involved in it, from teachers to, you know, you get together with your friends and you do something in the garage, you know, you make music. And we had influences in the Bay Area. At the time we had Sly Stone was right there. They were coming right out of Oakland. I mean, Larry Graham lived just on the other side of the hill from us. So I can remember walking home from school and watching Sly and the Family Stone practicing in a house where I could see the guitar player with his back to the window playing, and we would just stand out there with our mouths dropped, just listening. And it was that, and it was getting together and trying out for battle of the bands. You put together a bunch of guys, and it was like a baseball team or a football team, but it was music. So the whole communal aspect of it was really very strong in me, and it has been, and it still is. That's kind of the nature of what I do now.
It's got to be amazing feeling to be able to experience artists that start off and grow up to be, way bigger than maybe what most people thought they would have been.
Yeah, it's incredible. You hear something, like I remember, fifth grade, I'm walking down the street and they're playing something. They're playing like Everyday People in the House, and that was a very popular song back in the 70s. Okay. But for me, it was a new sound, and it was a real, urban Oakland-based sound. And it sort of defined who we were, and music ended up defining me and kind of separated me from the pack. Like, oh, that's the musician kid, that's cool. And I wore it like a badge. I liked being noted for that. And so I just kept going,
Yeah, I never experienced anything like that, but I've heard the stories. My father's told me he grew up with Santana's brother.
Oh yeah.
And he would hear he would hear Santana just practicing, in his room, and he said it was incredible to hear.
Those guys are still just blasting. I mean, Jorge's still got the thing going. I mean, Azteca and Malo, those bands are still very popular. Very popular. Good stuff.
So let's talk about the 18th annual Sing for Your Life. It's coming up Monday, December 30th. How did this start? What's the mission behind it?
Okay. The origins go back to the 80s, right around 1989. Bobby McFerrin, who was at that time, was a San Francisco-based vocalist and had a fairly successful career in the world, actually. He got some money together and he started a group called Voicestra. It was basically an orchestra of voices.
Oh, Voicestra.
Yeah, Voicestra.
Yeah.
Right? So I auditioned for that. And after 2 years of auditions, like every couple of months you'd do another audition, I got into the group.
2 years of auditions.
Yeah,
so.
It was wild.
Wow.
We started out with 600 people when we first got there, and there were people from all over the world. When it all distilled down, I was part of this group, and I think it was probably the second year we were together as a group, he decided to do this thing where we all got together in a church and we made up music together, like a choir. But he would conduct, and so he would conjure these motifs, these sounds out of his head, and he would give each section in the room sounds. And like a repeating musical phrase, and we would make music, and there was something really amazing about it. We were all kind of caught up in it, like, what is this? And so we took it to Grace Cathedral, and it was right after Bobby released "Don't Worry, Be Happy," which was a really big tune at the time. I think he got like 5 or 6 Grammys for it, and people came to Grace, filled Grace, and we had a 24-hour chant that we did at Grace Cathedral that first year.
24 hours.
24 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was amazing. It was like this huge community of people that just came off the street and sang together and sang stuff that was just improvised on the spot. And there was something very powerful and magical about it. There were moments in that evening, I still recall it, like completely. At one point, we were singing one note, and the sun was going down. It was the afternoon, and we had been there since 6 o'clock the previous day. And this little child was on her father's shoulders, and we were all singing this. And there were probably 250 of us in the sanctuary, and then probably another 1,000 folks in the church. We're singing this thing, and this kid's she puts her hands up like this, and everybody's we're all singing the same note. We're singing one note, and we're watching this child put her hands up, and she brought her hands down, and everybody in the building stopped. And she looked around, and we were all just like stunned. We stopped this music. She put her hands back up. We started again. And it was just a really symbolic thing about, just the basic child in us all, and how being led by children or being led by that kind of attitude is it's a powerful thing. Being in a moment when you can just create, and there's no circumstance that you're worried about. You're in there. And we all were in there. I mean, and she was leading us for a moment. It was pretty powerful. And we did it for years and years after that. We did Grace. And then we moved.
And it was 24 hours each time.
24 hours each time, yeah. And it was always on the 30th of January, because, a lot of us were musicians that, your big gravy day was on New Year's, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe 3 or 4 gigs that day. So you do it on the 30th, get your groove on, get your New Year's on, and then go do your stuff. So we would do this, and we did it at Grace for quite some time. And then it stopped. We stopped doing it. Bobby left the Bay Area, moved to Minnesota at the time, and we decided we wanted to keep it going. So we did it at Presidio Chapel for a while, and we decided that 24 hours was a lot. So we decided, let's do it 12 hours. We'll do it from noon to midnight.
Now, for a lot of people, 12 hours still seems like a long time.
It does. It does indeed. Yeah.
What's the fatigue that happens with everyone?
Well, we're not asking people to be there for the entire 12 hours. See, what we have now is we brought it from the Presidio Chapel over to First Congregational Church in Oakland at 27th and Harrison, downtown Oakland. We do it there, and what we've got there, what's really great is we've got food, in the adjacent buildings. We've got massage. We've got a lot of stuff going on, so that if you're there and you've done your 2 hours or whatever, and you need a break, you can just walk out to these adjacent rooms and get what you need, and fellowship and hang out and have some food, just have a drink with folks, just be there. And then come back in and sing, because it's going to still be going. It never stops. So we're doing it in the sanctuary at First Congregational Church, and we start at noon and we go to midnight. And if you come in for 3, great. If you come in for 12, fantastic. And that's kind of the deal. So
that's not bad. Go sing for a few hours, get a massage, go back and sing.
Yeah, we've also got altars in and around the premises. So all around the sanctuary are these places where you can go and just contemplate, be contemplative, think about things. There are altars that call you to do things, to interact, to be a part. And it's all based on community and about, facing the future. We all know the future is crazy right now, and nobody knows what to expect. But the idea is, if we can gather and just really extend our circles and then go on with that courage, that we have because of these numbers that we've created in our community, we're going to be better off. And that caring and all of that is part of what we're about in downtown Oakland.
Well, you're definitely right about these days. I mean, we don't know what the future holds. It seems like everyone's living day to day. It's just crazy times right now, but community will last forever.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's it's family. It's like, we understand, there's a very, very inborn thing in us all about, we come from a tribe. We come from our people. Family is very powerful. And if we can create that with extended family, not necessarily your brothers and your sisters, but literally your brothers and your sisters. And what we're doing in downtown is we're doing work where it just involves your breath. You don't have to bring anything. You don't have to have any serious ability either. You can come in off the street. If you can talk, you can sing. And that's the way we look at it. And there's a lot of support. There's a lot of generosity. There's a lot of basically just basic human community. And that's what we're trying to build down there.
Now, is the event held every December 30th?
It is indeed. Yeah, this is our 18th year at the First Congregational Church.
Now, being that it's a day before New Year's Eve, is it holiday songs that you're typically singing, or is it a mix?
You know, it's improvisational. Sometimes it's beyond words. You know, we'll make stuff up, and you'll think, I think I hear, I think I hear Spanish in there. I think I hear, Chinese in there. What do I hear in there? Or wow, that sounded kind of Christmassy. That sounded sort of like the holidays. That sounded like a Hanukkah song, but it's just made up. It's basically, if we can stay away from words, it's actually better, because then it can be interpreted by anyone, meaning anything. But sometimes holiday songs do kind of filter in. People have opinions and things that happen. There might be a thematic part, that comes out of something that we build, some texture we put together.
Approximately how many people show up to this?
Well, we do. We're looking at, we got 400, 500, 600 folks.
Wow, that large.
Over a day, and we've got a core of about 65. See, we meet every third Wednesday of the month at the sanctuary at First Congregational Church, and we sing from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And it's a thing where every third Wednesday, folks can come in and just come off the street and sing with us. And it's sing in improvisation. It's, we're all graduates of MSU, making stuff up. That's the deal. So folks come off the street and sing, and this is the thing. And we've been doing it, like I say, we've been doing it now for 18 years here in downtown.
It's pretty amazing.
It's great. It's really great.
Now, how can people get more information about this? Or, do they have to sign up? Can they just show up?
They can just show up. But to get information on all of this, because we've got a lot of stuff that we're ramping up with for Sing for Your Life. To find out about it, it's circlesing.org. Circlesing.org. And you can get a lot of the information. We've got circles happening this week on Wednesday. We've got one so you could come and get an idea, get a feel of it. And that's at 2501 Harrison Street in downtown. So it's Harrison and 27th. And so we start on this Wednesday, and we've got all kinds of stuff going on. We've got, actually on Sunday, we're going to be up in Sebastopol. We're going to try to start a circle up in Sebastopol at the Sebastopol Center for the Arts.
Now, is this circle singing the improv circle singing?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah. It's basically right now we have like a core group of about, it's right around 35 people. And
it's a pretty big group.
Yeah. And what we'll do is we'll just call it. Like today we got folks just that are out in the lobby right now.
Yeah.
And we just gave them a buzz and said, hey, guys got the afternoon. If it's free, come on and see us. So they're in, and it's just, that's how it is. It's just folks come in, we make
and we'll have a performance here at the end of the show.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. So that's how it works. And we just, it's like I said, we're up in Sebastopol on Sunday. We're going to start at the farmers market and then head over to the Sebastopol Center for the Arts. We've got stuff happening with Upswing, which is their solstice celebration. That's in Berkeley. This is all on the website, so you can check it out and just get all the information. But we're actually working with aerial dancers. So folks that are swinging from the ceiling, we're going to be singing and reacting
that's very
to what
awesome.
they're doing. Yeah, it's crazy. It's really crazy. We've got a clinic that's happening the day before on the 29th called Catching Songs, which it'll kind of describe the process that we're doing, that we actually do to create this music. And there's 3 singers. All 3 of us are with Bobby McFerrin, but one of the guys is Joey Blake, who teaches at the Berklee School of Music in Boston, and then Judy Vinar, who's a teacher out of Minneapolis. They'll both be coming in, and it's an afternoon event that we'll do the night before or the day before, and then we'll have Sing for Your Life on the 30th. So.
Now, how do you prepare this type of music, and how do you perform with others? Because it seems like with 35 people in a group, I would assume not everyone's singing at the same time, but just the coordination amongst everyone. And improv, I assume you're just making stuff up on the spot.
We're making stuff up.
Yeah. So what kind of coordination do you guys just get in sync to where it's like telepathic communication where you guys just know what's coming up and what each other's doing?
Parts. Like there'll be one person conducting. So that person, for example, that would be me today. I'm in there facilitating, and I'm conjuring stuff. Sometimes I'm getting it just in my head. Maybe I get it from, say, somebody says something, or I feel the energy of the circle, and I just go with it, and then I give the parts to different people, and they sing them, and it's like a loop machine, human loop machine.
Okay,
and that's how it works. So, and you and I could do it right now if you want.
Yeah, I'm not a good singer, so we'll skip that section.
All right.
So let me see if I got the name right. SoVoSo?
SoVoSo.
Acapella group.
You got it, man.
So this is your acapella group.
Yeah.
What's the difference between this and the circle singing?
The acapella group SoVoSo is an improvisational group, but it's a band.
Okay.
It's like a pop band, but it's all voices. So it's kind of like I don't know, pentatonics kind of a thing, where you've got drummers. You got drummers like that. You got bass players. You got everybody in the group has a part, and you create music. You basically create pop music, and we've been doing that's been a 30-year process.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So how do you even learn how to make music instrument noises with your mouth? That's one thing. I mean, I've seen people beatboxing.
Right.
But
yeah, of course.
How do you even discover that?
See, I'm old. So I did it, when we started singing a cappella music, it was basically snaps, finger snaps. And you'd see guys kind of, maybe they were clapping and singing, or guys and gals clapping and singing. It evolved from that, egg shakers and stuff. And then suddenly, it's like, we need a drummer. So you kind of try to figure it out. You kind of push the envelope. So at first you're doing maybe like, which is basically just making like a hi-hat and an inverted snare, like a side stick shot.
Mm-hmm.
But then you start thinking about it. Now, how would I make a snare drum sound? How would I make, a snare with a bass? That kind of thing. And you keep imitating. And basically that's what we're doing, is we're imitating the sounds of instruments. We're trying to assimilate the sound of an instrument. And you just keep messing with it until eventually you get it.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah,
it's got to add a whole new depth to the acapella group, right?
It does, absolutely. I can remember when I first started getting the drum thing together, and then seeing other people that had the drum thing together. And you'd go in and go, hey, wait a minute. You grab the guy by the shoulders of the guy, like, hey, what's going on? How did you do that? And then you'd share information, and and now the internet, oh my God, every 5 minutes you got some amazing person just doing stuff that it's like, forget about it. But that's it. It's just, you just keep doing it.
So, what's the overall mission with what you're doing here? The annual Sing for Your Life. For people that attend, what's the final message, the take home that you want people to go with?
There's a couple things, and this is going to sound a little crazy, a little heady. Changing the world, number one. Just changing the world with your breath. It can happen. It can actually happen. It's beginning. I mean, there's a movement afoot right now out in the world. Take a look at China right now. Take a look at Hong Kong. For an example, we have an opportunity, and so that's sort of the heady picture. If folks can walk away from Sing for Your Life, and they can feel whole, they can feel like the molecules are right, they can feel like they want to go home and just like hug their significant other, or they want to go home and just play with their kids or their dog. That's it. It's positivity. It's like feeling good. That's really what we want. That's what we're trying to just to sort of inject into the community, in the community of downtown Oakland. So yeah, if you can feel like everything's right where it needs to be, if the molecules are all in the right place, and you're just feeling whole and positive, and you've got hope in your heart, we've done our job.
That's an amazing message, and in today's world, we definitely need that message projected out there much more.
Agreed.
So, David, thanks for coming on to the podcast. We're going to get into, for the listeners and the viewers, right into a small performance here. And again, thank you. And what's the website one last time for people to visit and learn more about Sing for Your Life?
Yeah, it's called circlesing.org, circlesing.org. And everything that we're doing for the next, month is up there. So you'll know, where we are and where to see us and where to come in and just be part of our community.
Perfect. Awesome. Thanks.
Thank you, man.
Sono piede che piede me ubere. Say yeah, no, 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 no. Salale, 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 salale. Para diversi bedie mana bene. Salale, 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 salale. Milione ne mana bene. Para ubagere. Salale, salale, zambere. Grana bici pano. Salale, 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 mira no miro mañana salale, 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 sing salale, 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 right here in Oakland, California, salale, making sounds for all to hear. Salale, 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 we are singing. Salale, salale, oh yeah, we are singing. Salale, salale, let's sing together. Salale, yeah, 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 yeah. Salale, salale, I now wanna be salale, 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 you salale, salale, stand up and walk out on me. Salale, 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 let me your ear now, and I try not to sing out of key. Salale, 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 I get by with a little help from my friends. I get by. Salale, 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 salale. By with a little help from my friends. Salale, 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 I get high. Salale, high with a little help from my friends. Salale, 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 salale. salale, 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 salale. Feels so good to say na na na, yeah yeah yeah. Say na na na. Have you got some trouble in your heart? Say na na na. Say na na. Got some stuff going on in your life that ain't so good. Say na na na, yeah 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 yeah. Say na na na. Say na na na. Say na na na. Oh yeah 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 yeah. Say na na na. Yeah, say na na na. Feels better when you say na na na. Feels better when you say. Feels better when you say. Feels better when you say na na na. Yeah 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 yeah. Na na na. Sing now, just throw your head back and sing out. Feel so much better. Sing na na na, na na na, na na na. Sing na na na, na na na, na na na. Sing na na na.
Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. Thank you to our producer, Sam Lubman. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share the podcast. Remember, you can listen to the podcast on iTunes, Podbean, iHeartRadio, Google Play, SoundCloud, and anywhere else you listen to podcasts. For more information on my business as a property manager and real estate team, go visit my website at marcguzman.com. I really want to thank all of you for listening. It means the world to me, and I hope today's episode provides you value in your day-to-day life. I created this podcast to help showcase the many great people that live in this world and help share some knowledge that I've learned along the way in life. Again, thank you for listening. Check out our sponsors, and I'll catch you on the next episode.